as you know, the SAP mostly works in three major verticals.
Pardon again?
One is your technical vertical,
Okay. I will
and
say my,
one is functional.
yeah.
Apart from this technical and functional vertical,
Yeah.
SAP also have another vertical that is called techno-functional vertical.
Okay.
Or you can say called advanced vertical.
Okay.
Now, under technical vertical, we have different components are there. Components means modules. So under technical vertical, we have one component that is called basis component. Oh, sorry, above component is there.
Software
Advanced
developer.
application programming.
Okay.
So let's say you are working in a particular SAP project as a consultant. And in that particular project, if there is any technical consideration, any kind of programming, coding, these are required, then you need to talk with the above people. Above people will create that coding and programming interface. So these are our developers.
Right.
Now, apart from this above, we have another team that is called basis team will be there. Business application software integrated solution. These are our security admin team. Security admin means they will create your user ID and passwords. They provide the necessary authorization to access certain objects or certain servers. They will also handle the all kind of authorization, memory managements, all kind of application related troubleshootings. Okay, so all these things they will handle it. And if SAP is connected with any non-SAP or legacy system, in that cases, we have another team that is called process integration team. They integrate different server together, like SAP to SAP or maybe SAP to non-SAP server also. They will integrate it so that the data flow happens between the SAP or from SAP to non-SAP and vice versa.
Okay.
Now coming to the functional side, against functional, we have two major applications are there. One is known as industry specific application, that is called IS application. Industry specific. And the other one is your ERP application. Major applications are there.
Okay.
Now, under industry specific application, we have different components are there. For example, and these components are exclusively designed and developed by SAP to provide the end-to-end solution to different industry. For example, we have SAP banking components are there. We have SAP oil and gas. We have SAP oil and gas. We have SAP automotives. We have SAP utilities, SAP retail. So these are all different industry specific components are also there. And let's say SAP so far has given 25 industry specific modules so far. So 25 IS modules are still exist. Now, each of these components have a separate server. Banking, oil and gas, automotives, these are all separate server. That means they can work independently.
Right.
Now coming to ERP. Under ERP also we have several components are there. For example, we have finance and controlling, material management to take care of the purchasing and inventory activity, to take care of sales, distribution activity, SD module. We have production module, PP module, plant maintenance module is there also. Health, environment, safety, human capital management, and so on and so forth. Like, warehouse management, extended warehouse management, okay, quality management, so on and so forth will be there. But here, all these components are integrated into a single server. Unlike IS application, Here, ERP is an integrated platform. That means all the department of your business or all the modules is integrated into a single server. That is your central server.
Okay.
This is your central server and or common server. And that server you may use as a ERP central component 6.0, that is ECC server, or nowadays most of the companies are using S4 HANA server. HANA server is the latest and most smart servers, and data execution happens very fast as compared to ECC. And in ECC also, whatever the complexities was there, that has been simplified in S4 HANA server. And data executions, data flow is fast. Now, here, if any business use this ECC or S4 HANA server or ERP server, whatever the activities in each of the department, let's say finance department does some activities, material management, sales and distribution, production, each department, whatever the activities they do, all the activities will be recorded in the central server in an instantaneous. That means it updated in a real-time basis. So
Yes,
in this case, let's say production people want some finance data, maybe the cost of the products, or maybe some other data which is related directly to the finance. So in that case, they don't have to contact to the finance people. They just log into the central server and can access the finance data. Of course, they can only view the data. They cannot edit or manage any of the data. Now, so in this way, all the departmental dependencies will be eliminated and all the data will be in the real time. Everybody can access to the central server. And if they certain object they don't want to, or they may not be able to access or something, then in that cases, they contact to this basis team. Basis people can provide the necessary authorization to access the data. This is how it works. Now, let's say you have a business, your company have a thousands of customers, hundreds of thousands of customers. So how to handle the customers in that case? ERP system or ERP server is not designed to handle the customers, for which we have another vertical that is called techno-functional vertical. To handle all the customers, we have a separate component or separate application is there that is called CRM application, customer relationship management, which is handling only the customers. And every companies, they not just only manufacture a single product, they manufacture lines of products, and each product characteristics and attributes are different from other products. So in this case, to handle the product independently, we have another application that is called product lifecycle management, which deals with the different products. And we have a supply relationship management is also there, which handles all the suppliers or vendors. And supply chain management is there, which handles the whole supply chain of your company. Now, all these applications, let's say CRM application is a separate server, PLM has a separate server, SRM and SCM is a separate servers. And all these, let's say as a company, you are using the ERP server, you are also using the CRM server or SRM server. In that cases, all the server has to be linked with your central server, that is ECC or S4 HANA servers. So that customer related data will be entered into the CRM. Ultimately, it flows to the ERP server, ECC server, and it will get updated into respective modules or respective components. So this is how the data flow happens, and this is SAP CRM to SAP ECC or SAP S4 HANA. That connection or the mapping can be done by the techno-functional people, or as a functional person. If you are experienced enough to integrate, you can do that. But most of the time, if your SAP system is connected with a non-SAP system, in that cases, you may seek the help from the PI team, which will able to help to map, and they will integrate it. Now, coming to the user concept in any SAP projects, or mostly especially in SAP implementation projects, if a company want to implement SAP and they are not they are new to the SAP, in that cases currently they may be using some other ERP in the market, maybe Oracle, maybe Microsoft and all, but currently they want to move to the SAP. So in that cases, we need to understand people associated with SAP projects. Now, what are the people that we have? Broadly, two sets of people will be there in any SAP. One is
Okay.
consultant people, SAP consultants, and the other set of people is users. Next one is again consultant people, broadly two types. One is your technical consultant and another one is functional consultant. Technical consultant like your ABAP people, business people, and functional consultant, all your ERP people, functional consultants. Now, also under users, we have two types of users are there. One is known as your power users, or we can call it as a super users, and the other one is your end users. Next one is, let's say, I'll give one example, understand the functionalities of each of these users. Let's say I have a company here that is called your Honda Motors. Let's say Honda Motors wants to implement few modules. Let's say Honda Motor currently using some other ERPs. They want to try to, and this particular ERP not able to handle the complete business process of Honda Motor. That is why they want to implement SAP. And they want to implement, let's say, finance module, that is your FICO module, material management module to take care of the purchasing activities, production modules, and your sales module. Now, in this way, Honda Motor has to create a project team. They will create a project team, and the project team comprised of the senior people from each of the department, finance department, finance manager, or maybe director level people. So they are the part of this project. So finance manager, material, purchasing manager, production manager, sales manager, these are the part of that project. So this project team first only understand, if they are new to SAP, they will first learn SAP, understand how the SAP system is going to provide the end-to-end solution for the whole business process of Honda Motors. So if they satisfy that all the business process can easily be mapped and configured in SAP system, so they will implement the SAP. So they then cannot implement it. They need experts who implement the SAP projects. They need consultancy. So let's say they contact to some third-party agency who can implement the SAP for the Honda Motors. Let's say they contact to TCS company. So TCS is a consulting agency, and under TCS, technical consultants are there, functional consultants are there. So for TCS, since the project was given by Honda Motors, for TCS, Honda Motor is known as client, or you can say business owner. And for Honda Motors, TCS will be known as implementation partner. Now, TCS will deploy 4 teams of consultants. One is your team of FICO consultants, team of MM consultants, PP consultants, and SD consultants. Now coming to, so what exactly the consultant people will do in real time, in any projects? They first need to understand the complete business process of Honda Motors. And once they understand the complete business process, they will map that business process in a SAP system. Okay, so that is what that exactly work. Now the question is how they will map the business process in SAP system. That is through various activities, and those activities we are going to learn in our entire training session. That is called configuration activities, customization activities, integration, data migration, deployment, designing, development, and testings.
Right.
So
Okay.
these are some of the activities you are going to do it in entire, to map the complete business process Honda Motor into the SAP system. Now, but for the implementation of SAP, Honda Motor has to purchase the SAP server, and they will purchase the SAP server from the supplier who are available in the market, or maybe they directly purchase the server from SAP company. Okay. Apart from the SAP, also we have IBM is there who can supply the SAP server. Cisco is also there. HP, Dell. These are the companies who can provide the server as well. Assume that Honda Motors purchase the server from SAP. SAP team will come to the Honda Motor office. They will install the server and they will go back. So in the server itself, you are going to do all these kind of activities. Now, when every your business process mapping is done, the question is how you are going to understand or get the knowledge of Honda Motor business process. This project team will help you to do this, because project team is the senior people from the Honda Motor side, and this project team is known as power user people.
Okay.
Yeah, they are the senior people from the Honda Motor side, and they know in and out of their business process. They will explain the whole business process to all the consultants. Consultant people will understand the business process and map it. Now, and once the mapping is done, testing is done, and the SAP system is ready to be get used by the Honda Motors, then you do it, and the project will go live. You leave the place, and the system will be used by the end user people to do any kind of business transactions. So end user people are the normal employees of the Honda Motors who will be using the SAP systems on a day-to-day basis to carry out their day-to-day transactions. That means they will create the invoice, post the payments, create the orders, all these kind of business transactions, they're going to do it. Now, the question here is, when I say configuration and customizations, what does that mean? When as a consultant, you will do configuration. Configuration of what? See, when, as I mentioned, Honda Motor is a very big company, and in day-to-day basis, it deals with a lot of data, huge volume of data. And that is why to make a transaction very efficient and reporting very efficient, what they do, business will categorize the data classify the data into different buckets or different categories. That is called data classification. And as a consultant, you will be dealing with 3 types of data. You need to configure these 3 types of data. One is known as your master data. Second one is transactional data. And the third one will be configuration data.
Okay.
So master data is the data which never changes. In the business, some of the data is there which never changes, which remains static forever. That is why what the business people will do, they will create the data only once. They will create the data only once, keep it in SAP server so that all the department can use that data for the transaction. So master data is the data that never changes. Or even if it changes, it's very rarely. For example, your Honda Motor sells the products to the customer, for which customer master data has to be created in the system. Customer detail, customer name, address, bank details, everything related to the customers will be kept in the server, SAP server, in a centralized form, so that all the department can use that server. And another one is Honda Motor also purchase the material, different material they're dealing with. So material master has to be created for that. Also, Honda Motors purchase the material from the vendor, from the supplier. That is why a supply master has to be created or vendor master has to be created. So when you purchase the material, pricing comes into picture. So pricing master has to be created. And all the activities done means price cost has to be updated in your ledger account, for which GL master has to be created. And activities done by your employee people, for which employee master has to be created. So these are the standard masters are there, which you need to create, or business people has to create it. And but apart from this master, we have some module specific master data also there. So usually this master data is created by the business people. That means that power user people, this senior people from the Honda Motor side. But in some most of the business or most of the time, what we do is to handle the master data in a big project, to handle the master data, we have a separate team will be there. That is called master data team, MDM team, master data management team. They will handle their trend to handle all the master data. Otherwise, if MDM team is not available, then your power user people will handle all the master data. They will create it, they will modify all those things. Next one is transactional data. Transactional data that are changes frequently. Master data do not change, but transaction data changes frequently. So data that changes frequently. For example, all the orders, process order, production order, sales order. So different type of orders, purchase orders, invoices, payments, credit notes. So all these are part of the transaction data. These are the part of transaction. And the transaction data handled by the end user people, because they will create the transactions in the system. So that is the end user. Now coming to the configuration data. Configuration data, as I mentioned earlier here, Honda Motors, when they purchase the SAP server, in the server itself, there are some pre-existing data will be there. That that data is created by SAP itself. Some pre-existing data will be there, or some people call it as a set of data or table data. So these data, as a consultant, what you will do, you need to modify this data as per the business process of Honda Motors. And that modification only possible by the consultant people. User people do not have the access or authorization to modify this. So that is why consultant people has to touch this. So this is configuration data is handled by your consultant people. So if the technical object is there, technical consultant will handle. If it is a functional object, then functional data, then functional people will handle that. So these are the data classifications. So in our training, we'll understand what are the configuration data that we are going to configure and customize, what are the different master data configuration will do, and what are the transaction data configuration do. Configuration and backend setting has to be done by the consultant people, though user people will create the master and transaction data. So even we will understand what are the roles of a consultant people, what are the roles of power use people and role of end user people, what exactly they do. Those things also we'll learn in our training in details. Now, when I say Honda Motors purchase the server from SAP, they usually purchase minimum 3 servers. Minimum 3 server has to be purchased, and we call it as a landscape. That concept is known as landscape. Landscape is nothing but the arrangement of servers. Arrangement of servers. So Honda Motors will purchase minimum 3 servers. One will be, we call it as this is called development server. Dev server, development server. Another server will be known as quality server or QA server, quality assurance server. And the third one will be the production server. Production server. So development server will be used by your consultant people. That is all kind of configuration, customization done in the development server.
Right. Okay.
And once the data is customized or configured, that has to be tested. For that, we need to transport that server, that request or that object After customizing, we need to transport it to the quality server for testing purpose. So testing can be done by your power user people, or also we do it as a consultant. So power user people can use the quality server, and production server only used by the end user people. Because all kind of real-time data, real-time transactions, whether it is a payment, invoice posting, order processing, everything is done in the production server. That is the live server. So that is why as a consultant, you may not have access to the production server, or if at all it is there, it will be view access. You will not able to do anything. So only this is the live, so used by end user people. And architecture, other object, we will discuss it related to finance if you want to do. But these are the minimum things that you should know before we go deep dive into the specific module. What are the different objects handled by whom, and what are the different architectures that has to be known. And in the finance itself, we'll be dealing with a different type of sub-components, like how we create a company structures, some of the mandatory settings we need to do it, how GL master has to be created, and how the transaction will be processed and report will be generated. And if your client want a specific way or a specific fashion that report has to be generated, you need to customize it as per their requirement, how that customizations or configuration can be done. And we have some critical sub-component of SAP FICO, that is accounts payable, accounts receivables, asset accountings, bank accounting. These are some of the critical sub-component that you should be master with. As a consultant, you should know in and out of that. And associated topics will be there also, like foreign currency valuation, your month end and year end closing activities, and your tax related topics are there. Okay, how cross functionalities, cross company code functionalities, and cross company code transactions. So all those things you will get to know in this particular 2.5 months of training. Okay. If you have any doubts, clarification, any questions, you can ask.
Um, as you have explained the full process of SAP,
Mhm.
now being an end user,
Mhm.
okay, I should say that I do a lot of work of end user, also of a power user.
Yes, yes.
A lot of work related to the both of the part wherein I
Mhm.
have handled the master data. I have worked as an end user. I have uh, got the chance, I will say, to work on
Mhm.
multiple.
Okay.
Yeah, and
But
as to what you said, like the basic settings of SAP and creation of company code, assignment of company code, and creation of GL accounts, creation of cost element, secondary cost element. Uh, this all the work I have already performed in my current role, being
mhm.
a producer.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
that's
I'm
great. Then it will be easy for you to grasp it in a very limited time period.
yeah.
In FICO, because people usually when they're new to the SAP, they find very hard or difficult to understand the whole processes. So, but it will be easy for you to grasp all those things.
Right, but I was unsure about the see, learning. Actually I am a person who will mostly learn from the practical knowledge.
Yes.
The practical knowledge works more than theoretical part.
Hmm.
Then only I will be able to be confident in learning what I'm doing. Whatever I will do, then only I will be confident in that uh, area of specialization.
Yes.
So I
So,
also want to learn the, as you mentioned little bit above, wherein the consultant will be doing the integration of other modules as well as the legacy system,
mhm.
from legacy system to SAP, and those integration, will those become covered in this thing?
Yes, 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 that will be covered. That is a separate integration topic will be there. We'll be covering that.
But it will be just the overview or it will be in depth?
No name depth only integration. You tell your requirement so that you can cover that.
No, as like, now we
See,
had a,
depth is nothing but whenever in the from the legacy system, when you try to fetch the data, when you migrate the data, okay, what you will do
yeah,
is we have a different tools we are using. LSMW tools, LTMC tools we are using. Okay.
right.
But as a consultant, we should know the tables, what are the different fields in the table, how to map it. Okay.
Okay.
Because table to table, relation the mapping is done.
Yeah.
Especially when we do SAP to non-SAP system. SAP to SAP is easy. Okay. But
Okay.
SAP to non-SAP system, because non-SAP system is coded in different language. SAP system is in ABAP language. Non-SAP system is a different language. So since the
Okay.
language barrier is there, we have different adapters are there, and we need to map it so that the language, when data from the legacy system, it will transport to the SAP system, it will be converted into SAP language. So SAP can understand that how that adapter work, how that mapping work. We will discuss that.
Okay. Good, good. Okay, okay, Satya.
And
Today I
we'll do
like,
it on a project basis, in a real-time project basis. It's not like first we'll train on a dummy project, then I'll give you one project which is real time, and in that project you will understand as a consultant whom to collaborate, whom to talk with if certain error comes, which department you need to talk with, what are the different approaches a consultant should have at that point of time. So and how to shoot that troubles, or what are the coordinations that you need to do, how to create a technical and functional specification for that. Okay. If you tell,
okay,
okay, this error is from the above side, you cannot directly assign to the above people. For that, there are different approaches are there. And if certain configuration and customization has to be done in a specific format as per the client requirement, what are the different specification you need to write, and tell the technical people, okay, design this particular component in or particular object in a particular manner. So for that, those things also we'll discuss in the real time basis.
yes. So you will be in short, you will be preparing a end user for, considering me, you will
Yes,
be
yes,
preparing
yes.
end user as a proper consultant who can go and work onto
Do
the
the
life.
live projects, yes, yes.
Okay.
But since you have already worked as an end user, then it will not be difficult for you. It may be difficult for a new person who doesn't know anything about SAP.
Okay.
But we should know some of the technical specification or technical things, like how the data, where it will store, what are the different data fields are there, so that you can integrate, map all those things. So we'll do that also. We not only learn how to integrate the SAP to SAP, also will do SAP to non-SAP as well. SAP to SAP means how finance is integrated with the material management, how finance is integrated with your production planning, how finance and controlling is integrated with your asset components or HR components. Okay, that integration also will learn it. What are the different integration points?
Okay.
And
Okay.
FI also integrated with the sales and distribution model in accounts receivable sides.
Okay.
So all those integration will learn it.
Okay. Okay, Satya. Great, great.